Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Who Wants to Be a Monado Heir. I'm your host, Kay Jewelers, and I would like to give a warm welcome to our guest here on the show, the maker of puns, the Let's of players, Daisy's #1 fan, Chuggaaconroy.
Yeah! Rhyme time!
Yeah! You like that?
God, I'm already loving the energy. This is like, I'm feeling amped as a result of this, dude.
Thank you. I've already closed the chat, so you don't have to worry about me peeking or anything.
Okay, you know what? We love it. We love an honest guest. Thank you for that.
Okay.
But how you doing, dude?
Pretty good. Did a lot of recording last night for Xenoblade 2. I still have a long way to go. It never ends. You always think that you're closing in on the end, though, but then it just keeps stretching out further. It's so much content. I can't stress enough that if you like this kind of game, it's a really good value for the money because holy hell, there's a lot to play.
Oh, totally. I mean, I think I told you I had a goal in 2017. I want 100% the 3 big Nintendo games. I did it for Super Mario Odyssey. I did it for Breath of the Wild. I got the Xenoblade 2. And as I was doing all the post-game side quests, I went, you know, about that, and I have never 100%ed it still. So before we even get into kind of like the lifeline and just the questions themselves, I always like to ask, how did you end up getting into the series for the first time, and what's been your experience with it?
So the very first time that I ever saw the series at all, I knew about Xenogears and Xenosaga, if you're counting those. I grew up not playing them because I always heard that Xenosaga was bad from people. I think this stems from 2 things. I think one is because Xenosaga 2 is actually considered a bad game. And I think that the other one is that all of my friends and I watched X-Play religiously as kids, and they were the one critic that just tore Xenosaga 3 apart and said it was awful. So I think just from hearing that Xenosaga 2 was actually a bad game and hearing that Xenosaga 3 was apparently a bad game, that led to me just thinking that Xenosaga as a whole was bad and thus never touching it.
Right.
And then I remember when Xenoblade 1 was announced for the Wii in Japan around 2009 or so, and I remember being like really stoked for it and thinking that it was going to be so cool. And then 19-year-old me learned that it was played entirely using the Pro Controller, and I'm like, oh, you mean you don't swing the controller for the sword? What's the point? So I remember hearing that and not really like being sure that I wanted to check it out though, but then there was a lot of hype for it when it was coming to Europe and North America. I pre-ordered it and I played it day 1, which I was super thankful for because that went up in price so much and it was impossible to experience after that point for a while. But that was how I first played, and I almost got into the series multiple times before Xenoblade 1, but I turned my nose up at it for really silly reasons multiple times.
And here you are.
Yeah, here I am. Here I am having a logo icon based around it.
I mean, it is really kind of funny how that works, where you just like, maybe you're like, you know, I wouldn't be that into it. Or maybe you even just go into a series, go, we'll see how it goes. I probably won't love it that much. And then it just escalates to like one of, if not your favorite things out there.
It surprised me so much because, as you put it, the one cutscene that changes everything, 3 hours into Xenoblade 1, you're not expecting a game like that to really grab you right away. I remember hearing before release that it didn't have the same problems that a lot of RPGs had around that time, where RPGs were quite notorious around that time for taking 20 hours to get good, but the opening cutscene of the first game just grabs you right away. It's really interesting from the start. You don't have any downtime until you're maybe 30, 40 minutes into the game, and there it's kind of welcome because the game's just been moving at such a strong pace up to that point. You get just a little bit of downtime, and then the attack on Colony 9 happens, and it's a whole other game at that point. I remember falling in love with the voice work so much. I was so proud because I got to relive one of my first experiences with the game where I bought the game for my cousin earlier this year and got to watch her play it. And she was loving it, and was playing it for hours and hours and hours. She, I think, went up to the end of Tephra Cave on her first sitting. And when she got to the attack on Colony 9, the very moment that we hear Shulk's, "I'll kill you!" that moment, I remember that she just turned to me and she went, the voice work in this game is really good. That was
so good!
That was the exact moment where I thought the same thing, so it was so cool seeing that relived through a close relative and stuff. I loved that.
That is one of the lines that just like, I don't know, I still feel that every single time I hear it. And, oh man, there's not many lines that could do that to me in just anything, so I totally relate.
It's amazing, because generally the English version is viewed as the superior option for a lot of people. I know that obviously there's always going to be people that prefer the other option, and that's fine. But it's one of the few things I've ever seen where generally I see people recommend the dub first.
Well, alright, and like I said, I could be here for so long talking about this, but let's go ahead and go for the lifelines real quick, just to make sure that, you know what you're getting yourself into. Our first lifeline here is Shulk. Now, Shulk is a bit of a funky lifeline in that you can pop it for a future question, and essentially I will show you a vision for the correct answer to that question. So, for example, if you're on question 10 and you pop it, and you will get a vision for question 12. And it's up to you to kind of connect that to the correct answer.
Mm-hmm. So it can be for any future question. I don't know which one it's going to be.
Exactly, yes. And it'll either be some form of video or some form of image.
Okay.
The next lifeline is
Vision.
Klaus. Oh, what's up?
I said, vision, visual media.
Gosh dang it. This is what I said. The master of puns, the maker of puns at the very beginning. Klaus is our next lifeline, though. That is your 50-50. So I will delete 2 incorrect answers, leaving you with 1 incorrect and 1 correct answer to choose from. Aegis is our phone a friend lifeline. You can call in a buddy, have them join in here. As soon as you start reading the question, you'll have 30 seconds on the clock, and hopefully they can help you find the correct answer for the question.
I hope Anel is not still live streaming.
And then finally is Amalphus. This one is our Ask the Audience. You lovely people in the chat are going to be able to help out Emil to get the correct answer, so I will put a poll in the chat so you can guide him there. But those are our 4 lifelines. Chugga, do you have any questions about those?
No, I don't have a question about the lifeline. Am I supposed to be able to see things? Because I have the stream closed so I don't get spoiled by the chat.
You know what would be really smart if I actually screen shared with you? That would be smart.
I was waiting for that to start, but I wasn't going to say anything until you asked if I had questions.
Yeah, that would be really smart of me. Hold up 1 second. Chugga, are you ready?
Yes, ready as I'll ever be.
Let's find out if Emil has what it takes to become our second Monado Heir here on the show. But, as you probably know, as tradition, which each of these episodes, I gotta ask you a very important question to start.
I'm ready.
Our bonus question. In a battle royale, which of these fighters would come out on top? Is it A, the Water Wraith, B, Steve the Trooper, C, Territorial Rotbart, or D, Nestball Groudon?
So it's impossible for a red Pikmin to defeat the Water Wraith, only purple Pikmin can do that, so he is instantly out in a battle royale against the Water Wraith in that case. The Water Wraith is weak to objects thudding onto the ground, heavy objects. Territorial Rothbard is able to do that for one of his arts. The Water Wraith would be out in that situation, running away scared. It'd be between Territorial Rothbard and Nestball Groudon. The Nestball Groudon is level 70, Territorial Rothbard is level 81, so I'm gonna say Territorial Rothbard.
Emil?
Yes.
You literally followed my exact logic, and you were correct. It was literally my exact logic.
I thought of that bit on the spot and just sped through it.
Bro, what?
Yeah, I just thought of that I thought of that bit on the spot. That wasn't rehearsed or anything.
Who leaked it? Who leaked the PowerPoint? Alright, well, dude, rocketing start?
Okay.
Bonus correct, so there we go.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go ahead and switch up the music. Let's get into the real deal here. For 500 gold, which of these is not an element in Xenoblade Chronicles 2? A, fire, B, ice, C, steel, or D, dark?
Right away, I gotta tell you, I am so relieved right now, because my experience watching all these episodes up to this point is every single episode, I think, maybe one exception, I have always gotten the first question wrong, but then known them all after that. I was so scared if I ever did one of these that I would just botch it on the first question. Alright, let's go for steel final answer.
Now, Emil, will we break the curse here? Yes, we will. You are correct.
Don't make me second guess myself, man.
That's my job. That's what I gotta do. I gotta make it feel a little on edge, you know?
What would the opposite to steel be? Fairy?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. That's the Pokemon brain in me thinking, at least. But 500 gold, out of the way. Nice and easy. You broke the curse. Let's go on to our 1,000 gold question. Which of these locations is depicted in this picture? Is it A, Gar Plains, B, the Fallen Arm, C, Lasaria region, or D, Gormott province?
Lasaria region. That is my final answer. It's Porton Village.
Emil, you are correct. It is C there. Great job. knock them out of the park already. Let's go ahead and go on to our next question. For 2,000 gold, a year after the Battle of Sword Valley is the first time Shulk is introduced to the player. What is Shulk's first official line? Is it A, a mech on M71? B, it's so peaceful? C, the Monado? Or D, there you are, Ryan.
Okay, this is the one that I'm the least confident in so far, but I'm pretty sure it's a mech on M71 because he wants to configure the anti-air batteries. So I'm going to say a mech on M71. Final answer.
Emil, for 2,000 gold, you are indeed correct. It is a mech on M71.
Okay, that was the first time you really got me.
There you go. You got the bonus and free questions down already, so again, according to your previous track with the other episodes, you're in the home stretch already.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like that in actual episodes of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where I tend to find like the 1,000 and 2,000 questions really hard, though. But then I know like the 500,000 question.
Yeah, I feel like it's again. That's always the thing. Like, do I have the question prepped for them or not? But sometimes they just know it. You're like, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get a bit of a music change here as we go into a little bit more intensity. For 3,000 gold. In The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, what effect does Rex's Salvager set have? Is it A, cold resistance, B, attack up, C enemy HP, or D, swim speed up?
I just watched a Let's Play of this recently where they got this armor, and I'm going to say D, swim speed up. That is my final answer.
Emil, you are correct. It is swim speed up.
Your frickin' pauses, man.
So, a little bit of a side story. I've been running games of Mafia with my classrooms, and whenever I wake them up to announce the casualties, I always just walk up to the people and go, "Hey, how you doing?" And they're so nervous.
That's incredible.
Like, good? I'm like,
are you sure about that?
That's incredible, because... like, all my teachers, I think I was telling you this before the show started, all my teachers were like, what is this email you speak of? I can't let you turn in assignments with that, because I don't know what that is. And this is my senior year in 2008.
Well, are you ready for the final question before we reach our first checkpoint?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right, gotta get over
this. Let's see what waits behind door number 5,000 gold. Who was Jin's former driver, essentially who owned the old house in Torn of the Golden Country? Is it A, Ornelia? B, Freya, C, Rhinello, or D, Kefira?
So, had I recorded one episode further last night, I would have reached this point in the game and just known it. But I think going from my memory of a while ago, I think it's been about a year since I did my research on Torna, I am pretty dang sure that it's Ornelia.
Now, Emil, are you sure? Is that your answer you want to lock in here?
I'm gonna lock that in as my final answer, Ornelia.
Emil. Now, the reason why I said interesting earlier is because of this question. And you are correct. It is Ornelia.
God, I just, in that moment where I realized, man, if I recorded just one more video, it would have just told me the answer outright and there'd be no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, okay, interesting. This will be fun then.
Yeah, I stopped at the campsite outside of town with the final party member, so...
Oh, okay, so yeah, perfect timing there then.
That's where I stopped.
Well, you did it. You hit the first checkpoint. 5,000 gold in pocket right now. How you feeling?
Okay.
And all your lifelines as well.
Yeah, I didn't have to use them on the first question.
Honestly, 4 lifelines going into 10 questions here. Totally doable.
Okay.
You ready for question number 6?
Yes.
All right, let's get it, guys. Victor Jingle out of the way. Serious business. I'm just gonna have, you know what? I'm just gonna do that for the future episodes. You are gonna be providing the sound effects whenever I'm doing the transition. I'm just gonna use that soundbite there.
Oh gosh, people are gonna learn to hate me, like whenever like my sound is the harbinger of their doom.
For 7,500 gold. According to the jukebox from Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, what is the name of this song? Is it A, Once We Part Ways, B, The Decision, C, Futures That Lie Ahead, or D, Majesty?
So I have to be honest, other than finding out that they changed Unfinished Battle to Unfinished Business, I don't know anything about the jukebox listing in Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. That's one aspect of the game that I've never looked into. So I think it's going to be time to call in a Amalthus.
All right. So at this point, Chugga is going to be using his first lifeline Amalthus, which means you guys are up. I'm going to be putting a poll in the chat for you guys to vote on. Hopefully we can get Emil to the right answer here.
Let's hope so. If I had to give a guess before the results come in, I think once we part ways, it would be my guess. I don't know that for sure, though. Like, do not let that influence the poll results, please.
I am very similar to you that I'm actually very unfamiliar with a lot of the jukebox names. And so I still call it Unfinished Battle instead of Unfinished Business because, I don't know, Unfinished Business sounds like an office worker that's like sprinting into overtime to just finish his work.
I was gonna say, it sounds like, you know, having to like rush to the bathroom or something, but...
That also works.
5 minutes later.
Well, the results of the poll are in. So, A received 8 votes, 10% of the votes. B received 1 vote. C received 0. And D received 75.
Wow, okay, that was actually the one that I thought was least likely to be it, because the decision was my third guess, and Futures That Lie Ahead was my third guess, so... alright, I'm gonna have to go with the audience on this one.
Now, trust in the audience, there are quite a lot of people in here. Emil, do you think they steered you in the right direction?
I think so. I think it'd be harder to sabotage with a larger number of people. I'm just gonna go with my gut on that one, that statistically it's gonna go in roughly the right direction the more people you got.
Well, what I can tell you is that the audience did steer you in the right direction. It is D, Majesty.
Okay, I wasn't quite as nervous there because at least it wouldn't have been my fault in the audience if I was wrong, so...
So...
That was overwhelmingly that.
You might be more familiar with this name. This is what I know it by, is Grandeur.
Yes, I had that track on my phone for a while, and I think that's what the file name was, because that's just what the literal translation was.
This is one of my favorite songs actually in the game. For those that are unfamiliar, this plays when they see the Mechonis on the kneecap, as well as in the very end of the game with the "Together We Use Our Power" line, and it is absolutely magical. I actually had a custom Xenoblade CD playlist, and this was, of course, right before Beyond the Sky. And just that 1-2 combo right there is so beautiful.
I have to listen to the songs in that order later. I love stuff like that. I have the physical CD soundtrack, and there was one time where I listened to it on a drive from Florida, and we started the CD as we were starting the drive back from Florida, and then it finished on the credits theme ending just as I pulled into my parking space at home. It was so cool.
That's so beautiful.
It was wonderful.
Let's go ahead and head on to the next question for 10,000 gold. A squirrel-like enemy with a single horn would best describe a representative for which of the Xenoblade Chronicles enemy families? Is it A, the Flammy, B, the Hawks, or Hoax? I always get that butchered. C, the Pagul, or D, the Apis? I'm really bad with pronunciation.
I always said Oppies. Okay, So I know it's not Flammy. Obviously, that's Flamingo. I fight those a lot. The Pagul is similar to the Crabble, but they have that horn on their shell that is emitting that ether glow from it, so I know it's not that. I'm between Oppies and Hawks right away. I'm wanting to say that it's Hawks, because I do remember, like, they kind of, like, stand up on 2 feet, and they got a long tail. I'm not able to picture if they got a horn in my head. And the Oppies, I straight up don't remember what that is. So it's between those two. I think it might be time to call in Klaus here, just to make absolutely sure. And I really hope that it's not the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing where they take away the 2 that are not helpful to you, because that always happens on every episode of the show. And I always said if I was in that chair, I would never say what I thought it was out loud, because they're just waiting to screw with you. But let's do it.
All right. Chugga's going to go ahead and use his second lifeline here. And don't worry, we're not going to do the rigged, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire version. We are going to be trusting in the powers of RNGesus on this one.
8:01 p.m.
So, after doing that, Chugga, the 2 answers you are left with are B and C.
Okay. I know it's not Pagul. So I'm gonna go with B. Hawks. That's the one that I was thinking of more anyway. That's my final answer.
You are correct, it is Hawks.
Should have gone with my gut. I was pretty sure of it, but I'm just like, I can't picture what an Oppice is in my head. I can picture what a Hawks is, but I don't know if an Oppice is more accurately described that way.
Yeah, so Oppice or Apis, whatever it is, that's like, I believe it's like a flying mosquito-like thing.
Oh, a bug. Okay, I guess that would explain why it's hard to picture, because you don't really get a good look at them. They just look like a pair of wings most of the time.
But you got it. There you go. For 15,000 gold, the popular art backslash is attached to what weapon class in Xenoblade Chronicles X? Is it A, the photon saber, B, the longsword, C, the dual swords, or D, the knife?
Man, geez, I looked at some art listings before this though, but I didn't look at this one. Let me think about this. So photon saber is all about recovering your TP, doing all sorts of things really fast. A lot of people call it the Jedi build. Longsword does have a lot of traditional Xenoblade arts in it. Dual swords, you're getting the dual swords mixed up with dual guns because they're paired together a lot for the Full Metal Jaguar class, and playing as Elma is really helpful in the early parts of the game because she has just such good signature arts that you can't get elsewhere. So I'm trying to think about what arts she has, and I don't think I've heard her call out backslash before. The knife is weird because that's the Drifter class's weapon, and it's got some healing and stuff in it. The knife's got a little bit of everything. What question number is this, if I may ask?
This should be question number, I believe, 8.
8, okay, that's what I was thinking. I remember one thing that I liked doing was Elma had a back attack up skill, back attack up art, where I know you're supposed to use sliding slinger from the side to get the TP, but I always loved doing it from the front, so she would slide under the enemy, and then she would transition to a backslash seamlessly. I remember always thinking that was really fun to do, even if it wasn't giving you all the bonus effects that you could get. But I don't remember if her back attack was called that, is the thing. I think it was Shadow Strike was what her back attack was. Oh, gosh. This is what I get for canceling my Xenoblade X Let's Play that I was planning on doing, all because I was sure that they were going to port it to the Switch eventually, so it was pointless to do it when that was the case.
It all built towards this moment. What does Klaus say? It's fate.
It cannot but happen. It is fate. I see a lot of contestants play this show, and they never ever do shulk at all because they're not really thinking about struggling on a future question. Right. I've used multiple lifelines up to this point. I think this will be the time that I want to pop that, just so I have it in the bank.
Awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and pop that then. So the third lifeline is officially coming out here in shulk. Now, let's see what happens.
Oh no.
So, I have 2 directions I could possibly go with this. So, just as a heads up, your vision is for question number 10. Now, I can either go the Luxon route.
You're scaring me with that description.
Or I can go with a more moderate answer.
I hope it's the clip of Zeke going, "I hate you!" Okay. That looks evil, and I know what show that's from, so... Where you find these things is amazing. Okay. Alright, so I did that, but I'm also going to be using my Aegis on this question, but I wanted to do the shulk before I potentially didn't use it on whatever the next question was going to be.
Makes sense, makes sense. Alright, so final lifeline coming out here. Who would you like to call as your phone a friend here?
So last night, I was saying, I want to come up with a clever phone a friend so I don't use an L like literally everyone else. And you're like, actually, no one's really used an L. There was Luxon infamously not knowing that they could call an L.
That's gonna be fun. And just for the record, Anel has been making jokes about this both in my DMs and publicly on Twitter. I didn't call him for the lifeline because I thought it would have been unfair to get someone who literally won already.
Well, that's fine. You're allowed to do that.
Oh, man!
I didn't know that was your apprehension. If that was
that was my apprehension, because the only person I knew who was online who might know it was Anel.
No, bro!
And I didn't I'm not calling a past champion to give me the answer for the last question.
No!
I thought
And then I was... and so you told me that, and I'm just going, Oh, no one's actually called him before? Okay, then I'm not the boring one, so if he's not live streaming still, I know he was doing Torna attempts earlier, I would like to talk to him.
Makes sense. All right, well, let's go ahead and get an LN here then. Hope we can help you out with this. Luxon, you're a respectable individual.
Yeah, you told me that the closest an L ever got to being a phone a friend was when Luxon forgot and when I should have called him! I mean, okay, it's pretty funny that it's specifically Luxon that forgot, given that Finch is their icon.
A little later.
Sorry, I was.
Oh, there he is.
It is okay. I thought you knew I was gonna be on this thing, but I guess it wasn't like known about until pretty early.
No,
So
I actually had no clue you were on.
I was gonna message you this morning though, but you were doing Torna attempts, so I didn't want to bug you. So
No,
thanks
you're
for coming
fine.
on short
Thank you.
notice.
I appreciate it.
Well,
Thank you.
no, welcome.
Okay.
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I can't believe I'm the first person to invoke you as a phone a friend. Like I really thought that it would have happened.
Thought I was gonna be invoked last time. I was not. Funnily enough.
We've talked all about that. Okay, no. Luxon, you're a great person. I don't wanna like discount you at all. Like, it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. It is all in good fun. We're not.
Well, Luxon, I love you, dude. You're such a good sport.
It's fine. It's fine. Game shows are a stressful atmosphere, I know, because I also run a game show.
Chat. I'm not on your stream right now, so I don't know who's in the chat. I
also run a game show, so I'm familiar with the stress that contestants are put under. It's totally fine.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I have 30 seconds to read you the
As soon
question.
as you start reading, I'm going to start the timer.
The popular art backslash is attached to what weapon class in Xenoblade Chronicles X? Photon Saber, Long Sword, Dual Swords, Knife.
I am almost certain it is dual swords.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was caught between it being... On Dual Swords, I was thinking it was either Shadow Strike or backslash, but I couldn't remember which one was the back attack, so...
It's one of the earliest arts on dual swords. Elma gets it, so it's definitely dual swords.
Yeah, I knew that Elma had some back attack because I remember chaining Sliding Slinger into it. Okay, so I think we're good.
Murderous also
And that is
gets
time
it,
right
and
there,
she's
so...
Dual swords.
All right, let's go for C. Dual Swords. I was pretty sure of it. Now I'm extra sure.
Emil,
Yes.
for 15,000 gold, you are correct. It is dual swords.
I gotta learn to go with my gut more, and now I don't have a choice.
There it is. Well, yeah, at this point, you still have one lifeline that'll help you in, well, question 10, so one more after this one, but you know what? Go with the gut. Maybe it'll guide you all the way there. Janelle, thank you so much for the help. He is not here.
Goodbye.
He's already gone.
This is awkward. On to our next question here. For 25,000 gold, which of these event songs only plays once in the entirety of the Xenoblade Chronicles series? Is it A, The Tomorrow With You, B, Unfinished Battle or Business, whichever you prefer, C, A Ship in a Stormy Sea, or D, So Nah, So Fern?
Okay, really quick, I gotta say this. So nah, so fern, such theme, wow. I've always wanted to say that. Sorry. I've always wanted to say that, and I was so sad I couldn't make that joke for like years when I didn't do X, but... Okay, so, it's funny we were talking about Unfinished Battle earlier. That finally plays a second time in the series thanks to Future Connected. I was super happy about that. I know So Nah, So Fern plays multiple times and even has multiple renditions. Not sure if those renditions are canon, but it absolutely plays multiple times. Okay. A Ship in a Stormy Sea, I'm not the most familiar with that track, though, but I'm pretty sure that Tomorrow With You only plays in the ending of 2. I can't think of a side quest where that plays. I don't think it plays in Torna. I know a lot of music is reused in Torna, including the After Hope and Despair. I know that that's played in the final battle. All right. I think I just got to go for it. I'm going to go for the Tomorrow With You. That is my final answer.
Emil,
Yes.
for 25,000 gold. I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The answer is A Ship in a Stormy Sea. So, the Tomorrow With You plays when he is beckoning to Pyra and Mithra to join him on the cliffs of Moritha, and also when he says goodbye to Numa.
Okay, it plays it. Okay, so it plays it in its entirety in that cutscene,
Yes.
beginning to end. Okay, I didn't remember as the song getting to finish there because I remember when he says "join me," it cuts out and it goes back to whatever the epic theme is for the cutscenes.
Counterattack?
Yeah, counterattack.
Yeah, it perfectly syncs to when it fades from white into the sword floating in front of Rex.
Okay,
it's actually really well timed.
In that case, I was misremembering that though. But good on them for timing that well. It's a shame. A shame I didn't get to question number 10. A Ship in a Stormy Sea. Can you describe that song to me?
Yes, that's the one that sounds like the bombing mission. It plays in the very beginning of the game when they're like, all hands on deck. All hands on deck. We're gonna, we're approaching the ancient vessel.
That is an original song. I've never thought about that.
It's actually really funny. I completely forgot about that song. And then when I was watching your LP, I was like, oh my god, this song's a bop. And
so I reminded you of it and I spelled my own doom.
But, yes, Emil, I'm sorry. As that is incorrect, that is the end of your run. However, we can still keep going for the rest of the questions if you'd like to do that for fun.
Sure thing. I really want to see what question 10 was going to be since I popped a lifeline for that, anticipating it to be hard.
Let's go ahead and go on to 50,000. This would have been the question which your Shulk lifeline comes into effect. All of these titles have a non-generic feature tied to the Shulk amiibo, except for one. Which game is it? A. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. B. Yoshi's Woolly World. C. Mario Kart 8. Or D. Chibi Robo Ziplash.
Okay, so in Smash, you just get a figure player of the character. Yoshi's Woolly World, there's a Shulk Yoshi, so that's absolutely non-generic. Mario Kart 8, I don't know. I actually don't know if Mario Kart 8 has that. I'm going to assume that my Shulk vision was a turtle shell because of Mario Kart 8, so I'm gonna say it's that. I don't.
You would be correct. It is Mario Kart 8.
I don't think there was a racing suit for Shulk in that. I didn't remember there being one because I would have freaked out if there was.
All right, so this would have actually been your next checkpoint here, which means that there are 5 questions left for 75,000 gold. What rule of the Salvager's Code is make a girl cry? That's not gonna fly. Make a girl smile? You pass the trial. Is it A, rule number 2, B, rule number 3, C, rule number 5, or D, rule number 6?
My gut is telling me it's rule number 5. I think this one said pretty late game, but I know that rule number 6 gets cut off because Mythra was like, I don't think we need to hear it. And then Rex looks so disappointed. So I'm gonna say it's C, rule number 5.
So this one is actually rule number 3.
Rule number 3, okay.
Yes, I believe rule number 5 is the one that actually gets cut off.
Oh, all right. I guess I'm misremembering there.
Yeah, I think there are 7 in total if I'm correct, and the last one is the beat them up and grab a drink together.
Yeah, it's that one because he says that one to the architect.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. Next one, for 150,000 gold, Machine Gun Julio, a unique monster from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, is a member of what family of creatures? Is it A, a Jagron, B, Rodania, C, Ardanian Soldier, or D, an Ansel?
I'm pretty sure that's an Ansel. He's a bird that flies around the cliffs of Moritha.
You are correct. It is an Ansel. Although I do really like the idea of it being an Ardanian soldier.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good trick answer, actually.
I love some of the unique monsters' names. The one I always cite is the Tyrant from Xenoblade X, Sheldon the Dentally Challenged. It is amazing.
The Dentally Challenged.
Our next question, for 250,000 gold. From these 4 locations found across the Bionis, which of these areas can be found within the central section of Valak Mountain? A, Showdown Cliff, B, Ignia Hill, C, Zact Spring, or D, I always butcher this, Miguel?
Magwell Road. I thought it was Magwell. Okay, so I think Showdown Cliff is on the Bionis leg. I have not seen this map in years. I'm just gonna say straight up that this is a little more than a blind guess. I know there's Jacked Geezer, which I always make fun of.
It's such a good name.
It's so stupid. I had on that video, I had British people commenting saying they couldn't believe how British it sounded that they were calling it a geezer. They're just like, oh yeah, there's a geezer up ahead. All right, everybody, look for a geezer, everyone. They were saying that they've never heard anyone call it a geezer in their life, and they've lived in the UK their entire life. It's always been a geyser. And they're just like, I've never met anybody who says geezer, and I live in the UK. Like, that's the most it's so weird. I don't know where they got that pronunciation from. I think I'm gonna go for Zack Spring. I remember there being like frozen waterfalls and stuff.
Zack Spring is actually on the Fallen Arm.
On the Fallen Arm. Oh yeah, that's where you get the water. Yeah.
Ignia Hill is the correct answer for this one.
Damn it, in my second guess.
Showdown Cliff is in RFC area, and Magwell Road is Bionis Leg, I believe, on that one. All right, final 2 questions here.
Okay.
for 500,000 gold. In the Japanese version of Xenoblade Chronicles, there is a file for an unused character internally labeled PC2. What was the code name of that character? Is it A, Daryl, B, Lambert, C, Falchion, or D, Arthur?
I'm pretty confident that it's B, Lambert. I remember the day that this was discovered.
You are correct. It is Lambert for this one.
That was a little bit after my time, because I remember that was not known about at the time of me making my bonus video, so that was kind of a later discovery.
This was actually a very recent discovery for me. When I was doing research for some previous questions and I saw that, I was like, what the heck? This is funky. I've never seen this before.
He's like a sword and a shield. He doesn't look like anyone else in the game. It kind of feels like maybe an art style hadn't been landed on at that point.
Yeah, I recommend checking it out. I think there's a video actually that shows off the animations on YouTube that you can find. So I recommend people in the chat check that out. This would bring us to our final question for 1,000,000 gold. Given Hiroyuki Sawano's naming conventions, which of these is not a title for a song on Xenoblade Chronicles X track list? I'm gonna try my best to say these. Is it A, number 5 equals Kaku dash West box right arrow triangle star star Kai? B, Z question mark 2 F 0 I 1 E 2 L 0 D 914? C, XLTT? Or D, Nemos U kanji character Os?
Okay, so number 5 equals Kaku West, I know is the opening theme for the opening cutscene. That one I know right away, and I'm pretty sure that you didn't mess with the weird punctuation symbols there either. The Z songs I know actually has a code to it, where you can see the letters field in there if you just look at the letters. The Z question mark is something of a header, and then the 2120914 corresponds to the date that it was recorded on. Nemosu Os, I have seen that name before. I don't know if the kanji symbol is correct, though. That's a thing. But XLTT, I don't believe I've ever seen in the soundtrack, so that would be my answer.
Meal for 1,000,000 gold. You would be correct. It is C, XLTT. Dude, if you could see me right now.
I know the late ones. I always know the late ones. It's the early ones that trip me up.
If you could see me right now, my eyes were bulging. The entire time you were giving that breakdown, I was like, what?
Yeah,
and I was noticing it.
I was trying to detect if B was a forgery where you messed with the letters and numbers, but it matches his naming conventions for someone who knows the code for like why he gives his songs those names. So I was pretty sure you didn't forge B.
No, these are all real. Oh, that blew my mind. I had no idea. That is so cool, though. But also, why?
Yeah, I don't know. Why could you not call it just, I don't know, Field Theme 2?
I think, honestly, Black Tar is just hilarious, too. I think it's just
great.
such a ride.
Yeah, whenever you actually get to hear the lyrics in a long battle, it's funny. I love just how much gusto he sings in the Skell version of it. Just, we're stuck on a different planet, a lot more than we can manage, but we gotta keep on standing. I love that so much.
I have friends that they've never even played Xenoblade X, and whenever they jump into a Discord call and like there's connection issues, they go, "Hello, is this thing on?
I'm all alone. Is anyone there? I need a bigger gun." I love, not to sound cliche, but this world sucks.
It's such a whiplash. It's such whiplash. You just talked about how you need a bigger gun, and then now you're just like, yeah, this world sucks, man. Well, and like we said, not Monado Heir this time, but maybe if we go around the horn, we come back, revisit some people, maybe that time, you know?
Goodbye, false heir to the Monado.
Chugga, also, where can people find you? I'm sure people are, you know.
So I'm known as Chuggaaconroy. I'm on YouTube and Twitter, and I guess lightly Facebook. I don't really do much more than just post when I make videos there anymore, but I make Let's Play videos. I'm currently trying to 100% Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I am 180 episodes deep, and I am nowhere close to done. It'll be 100% the base game in the next one.
Yeah, guys, definitely look forward to it. There's still some good content to go, and breaking records, man. It's crazy, just that it's like this long of an LP though.
Yeah, it's by far the longest thing I've ever made. I guess speaking of records, I'm really excited. The playlist I noticed today is about to hit 2 million views.
That's so awesome. That's awesome, dude. Congrats. It's well deserved too.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of fun, and until next time.
We love you, Luxon.
Woo!
There's a guy who said I just got here in all caps.
Switch Kid, no!